if they're trying to get you to solve $1 million problem, it's not worth to pay 100,000 pesos.
Parang growth versus goals. Ito yung mga prices ko. Is it high? Is it low? Like how? What was your...
It was low.
Hi everyone. I am happy to do this podcast with a good friend. This is, ladies and gentlemen, Kia Abrera, founder of the Likha Summit. So just for everyone's, for those coming in, I found you, Kia, through TikTok. And what struck me kasi with Kia, what struck me with you, was like I really like the way you communicated.
Oh, thank you.
I really and the energy. Minsan kasi when someone speaks, you can feel their energy. Syempre, of course, that's my job. I'm just like, I like the energy of this person and where she's coming from. And because I was listening to your uploads and I was watching your uploads on TikTok, I was just like, mag-consult nga ako kasi remember, kailan yung consultation natin? How long has it been?
Oh my gosh, it's been more than a year. I think.
More than a year.
I believe that was around January, February of last year.
Oh, yun. That was January, February last year. And my problem was, eto guys, this was the problem that I was like thinking. I was struggling to find out my worth and my position in the industry. I was just like, Kia, ito yung ginawa ko. Ganito na yung ganito na ako katagal. This is how long I've been. And I was just like, what's a good position? Kasi I'm the type, you wanna know about these things kasi I've noticed you price yourself too low or you price yourself too high, and I didn't want to make that mistake. And I know too high, too low is subjective in most cases, pero yung objective naman siguro yung quality of work ng tao or yung level kung saan yung whatever your level is. That for me has some sort of objective value. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kia?
Yeah. Pricing, a lot of people say that pricing kasi is subjective. I think it's partly true, and pero merong certain facets of pricing that people don't take into account. Kasi nga, we teach a lot about value-based pricing. Pero ang akala natin it's our value, our worth dun based yung price natin. But what a lot of people don't realize is when we say value-based pricing, it's the value to the client.
Value to the client.
What's the value to the client? I mean, how much are they willing to pay to make their problem go away?
How much are we willing to pay to make their problem or to solve their problem?
Yeah. So, if you're, for example, this is something that my business coach taught me. If they're trying to get you to solve $1 million problem, it's not worth to pay 100,000 pesos.
Tama, $2,000.
Yeah, $2,000 to solve $1 million problem.
What? Okay,
diba? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Okay, sige. What's worth solving? Ito na lang. I'm gonna ask straight up. What's worth solving $1 million? Okay, kung $1 million worth yung problem, 50 million pesos. What's the worth to solve it for any professional willing to come in?
Well, it depends on what kind of professional you are. It depends kasi on what kind of problem it is.
Tama.
And it's gonna take different resources to solve $1 million problem versus solving a 100,000 peso problem.
Tama. True.
It's gonna take different resources. We're not just talking about the monetary value here. You're also talking about the value of your time.
Tama.
You're also talking about the value of your own resources, how the manpower that you have, ganon. And what we tend to do is we tend to over-explain our worth.
Tama.
Yun yung nangyayari. So then it becomes too much of a hard sell.
Or it doesn't make it worth it. It doesn't look very valuable anymore. If you have to over-explain, medyo nawawala na yung value. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah. That's true then. Kasi pricing also has to do with confidence eh.
Tama.
So it's credential, it's your confidence, and what what you can put on the table to make your clients' problems go away.
To make your clients' problems go. Okay,
Yeah.
so in my aspect as a host and as creator, when I gave you my current prices, was I pricing too high or too low? Ito na. At the time, when Kia, this is what I've done. This is my tenor. This is my experience. Ito yung mga prices ko. Is it high? Is it low? Like how? What was your...
It was low. It was low.
Was it low? I remember you also saying, Eri, there's bargain low. You're slightly lower than that.
Yeah, it was. Kasi I was thinking about, when you were telling me about your credentials, like
Yeah.
all of the stuff that you've done. I mean, you're the number one wedding host in the country.
That's according to
that's
features,
not,
not
I was gonna say,
oh.
I was gonna say that's according to these prominent features, diba? So parang when you say you're hiring the number one wedding host, it's not just because of the position that you have as a number one wedding host. There's a reason why they call you the number one wedding host. It's because of the way you engage people. I mean, I've known this because we've talked a lot. I know the way that you engage people. I know how you converse. I've seen your videos. I've also, I came across you on TikTok also. I came across that viral video in that wedding where it was,
my second life. I still have PTSD with that. Medyo, I still wake up crying na hinahanap. Like I hug my wife, I hug my son. I'm like, I love you guys. Sumiyak talaga, nanginginig ako. But yes, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So in that regard, people's weddings. I mean, of course, as a married person, I want my wedding to be unforgettable.
Absolutely.
I want my guests to not forget an experience that they have with us sharing a very special moment with our loved ones, right? So, sa akin, ang host, it's make or break. If you know how to engage and you know how to make an experience memorable, and it's a once in a lifetime, for the most part, it's a once in a lifetime thing. It's a very special moment that people want to remember.
Tama.
And people will pay money for that to make a memorable experience.
To make sure that at least you up the probabilities that your moments are taken care of.
That's right. So, if you have that kind of credential and you're consistently bringing that to the table, it means that, you're worth this kind of price.
Yes.
Kasi you're taking away the anxiety, or you're taking away, the anxiety that people are not gonna remember my wedding.
Yes.
No? So,
or like, will the moments in my wedding be taken care of? Will it be, or at the very least, I think what couples go through, will it be a pleasant experience?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a joyful moment, Weddings are joyful moments. You like to make people laugh.
Yes.
Diba?
Absolutely.
So it's there. The entire package is there.
Yes.
So that's why I told you on on our consultation, parang, do you think couples are going to be willing to pay an increased price for an Eri Neeman?
And
diba?
I was like, I personally didn't know how to answer it at the moment, because I was just like, yes, it's fine. Yeah, no problem. That's my wife. Sorry, we're fixing lights here, so not to worry. If you're looking at, if you're listening to the pod, you don't know, but we're fixing the houses because we're moving houses. But I'll send you my rates now. Look, ito na yun. Look, okay na ba to? Wait, padala ko sa messenger. Yan, tingnan mo. Yan. Tingnan mo yan. Okay na ba yan?
Wait, let me see.
Okay na ba yan, or can I increase it pa?
You can increase this pa.
Really?
You can increase this pa.
No.
Yes.
Kaya pa. Ayoko.
Yes.
Really? By how many percent?
Here's my question, Eri. Are you booked out?
Yes.
Then you can increase your price.
But I just increased like 6 months ago kasi, last June.
That was too far.
Medyo, really? Increase ko pa?
You can increase your rates if you're getting booked out.
Medyo pa rin. Like,
it means people are still willing to pay for it. And when you tell people your price, do they say yes right away?
Yes.
Or do they negotiate?
No.
Then you're low.
Really?
It's too low.
Too low pa rin to. Ito, really?
Low pa yan. Because, diba? I mean, some wedding hosts, I hear that they charge as much as 200,000
per. Grabe naman
per
yun.
wedding.
Well, the thing naman kasi, okay, here, I'll tell you my I'll tell you my philosophy on, and I don't regret undercharging through the years. I'll give you my reason for it. Kasi I've been doing this for 15 years. Had I found my pricing early on, and let's say I do plan to increase next year. Tara, consult tayo ha. Let's consult. Book tayo uli consultation.
Yes. Yes. I got you.
Okay. Had I increased years ago in terms of pricing, I would not have gotten the same amount of experience I've gotten. What happened kasi is, yes, price is important, but something I also want to share, you cannot put a price on experience.
That's absolutely
you
true.
cannot talaga. Like, I wouldn't have been able to host. Have you ever tried hosting in like walang sound, na sobrang pangit na lata, na sobrang
God, yes.
in such challenging circumstances for a wedding reception, or hosting where it's like a buffet and everything, and everyone's having a buffet, and you try to get people's attention, or you try to solve the problems, or you try to at least, you are given the opportunity to think about how can I solve this problem, because all these problems come up. You don't necessarily get that when you go premium pricing kaagad. And I have years and years and years and years and years of that. So for me kasi, I would not be the kind of host I am now had I found my pricing early on, let's say even like five years ago.
Yeah, you know what? And you bring up a very important point also for a lot of creatives these days, 'di ba? Na we're chasing after the premium price. We're chasing after, charging a lot for a small amount of work. Parang that's what a lot of us are thinking, right?
Yeah.
And I love what you brought up kasi nga everybody starts competing with price, especially if you're not experienced yet.
Yeah.
If you don't have any experience yet, talaga magko-compete ka muna sa pricing eh.
Yes.
But if you're always competing with price, it's always going to be a race at the bottom. If dun ka lang talaga, yun lang talaga yung magiging pinaka-basis mo to win clients. It's just because of your price. It's always gonna be a race to the bottom. Kasi the risk associated with, the risk, kumbaga, the risk assessment for clients, it's just going to be who is the lower price. Yun lang yung pinaka-threshold nila. Hindi nila tinitingnan kung sino ba yung makakasolve ng problema ko.
And how does one get out? Okay, ito, Kia. How does one get into that pricing lang iniisip ko mindset? And how does one get into the right type of mindset where, in my opinion, the right type of mindset or the healthier mindset is, I just need to get as much experience as I could so I can get better. There's a difference kasi what you're saying is you get into the pricing. Kung pricing lang fino-focus mo, is that because the professionals started focusing on that and that alone versus what they're supposed to focus on?
Yes. So, of course, so in my own journey, doon din kami nag-start in Braveworks, my agency. Doon din kami nag-start ni Mel. It started as a partnership, just me and Mel. So, nag-start talaga kami with pricing. So, the lowest price that we can offer, we even started serving clients for free when we were starting.
And there's nothing wrong
kami
with
ng
that,
10
huh?
clients.
There's nothing wrong with that, huh?
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Kasi, we needed the experience eh. We have the experience. We have like 8 to 10 years of experience in our own when we were working. Pero we don't have experience in terms of managing a business. The business side of things.
Tama.
Hindi namin alam yun. That's why we served 10 clients. Kasi we wanted na mabuo muna yung portfolio namin.
Tama.
And then, in the process, we were also kind of working out the kinks, the systems.
Tama.
What we needed to put in our contract. Ano ba yung nagiging mindset ng isang client? So, how do we serve them the best way without, compromising our boundaries, hindi siya unfair revisions, ganyan. What are we supposed to put in our contract? So, stuff like that, right? So, as our experience increased, sinabi mo nga na when your experience increases, ang dami mong nakikita na problema.
Tama.
Nakikita mga patterns.
Yes.
Na-expose ka dun sa mga problema. And the more that you get exposed to these problems, the more that you get better at solving them,
Yes.
the more that your confidence also increases.
Yes.
So, diba, the confidence also has to do, the price also has to do with confidence. Eh.
And
So
the
once you
ability to solve those problems. You know you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you've been through them
Over and
before.
over again.
Over and over again. So now that you're exposed to these different problems, hindi tulad ng iba na people with less experience, they're not gonna be able to troubleshoot or navigate their way around different kinds of client problems, the less experience they have.
And they don't know how. They don't know how. What separates talaga, for me, what separates experienced veterans is anyone can pretty much, or a good amount of people, a good percentage of professionals can do a good job when everything's going right. But for me, what separates the veterans from those are the ones who can still deliver when things go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So then, I think that's what made the transition for us. So parang mas lalo kami, for example, mas lalo na kaming naging confident dun sa design work namin. Kasi alam namin na design work is not just about the aesthetic, it's also about the function.
And the story.
So, yeah, the function, the story. Medyo mas naging confident kami sa branding.
Yes.
Naging confident kami sa motion graphics. So now that we super stack those skills, we develop them through, the training by fire.
Yes, training by fire. Gusto ko yan. Training by fire. Ano to, try? Hindi. Training. Yeah. I choose to be in the fire. Anong trial?
I choose to be in the fire.
Hindi, alam ko na yung fire. Training to. I go to the fire Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have a break on Thursday, and then Friday I double the fire.
The fire is what I'm here for.
Yes.
So once you're able to super stack those skills and you're able to expose yourself to all of these different kinds of problems, then your confidence increases. Therefore, your value increases. Therefore, your price increases.
And let me just rotate back to why this whole exchange and discussion started in the first place. It really comes from a professional focused on the experience part of building themselves as a brand or as a company, or the experience part yung finokusus mo, not the pricing part. I don't think someone who focuses just on price will ever get to that level. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think so din. I haven't really thought of it that way. Pero yeah.
Isipin mo, kung pera lang iniisip mo, like yung motivation mo, yung why mo, gusto ko mag-charge ng ganito. Or something. Or kung presyo lang yung fino-focus mo, this is charging this is charging this. When your price and money is your number one and focus, how do you even get to focus on the craft or the experience or the problems you need to solve or what makes you valuable? Parang hindi mo siya masyadong nakikita.
Yeah, and the reframe that we had to really parang we had to get disciplined on when it comes to money is that we had to reframe money as a tool rather than a result.
Tama.
So you're not working for money, you're working through the money.
You're not working for money, you're working through the money. Explain that, please.
So the money becomes a tool. So the reason why you're increasing your price is because you're solving bigger problems. And you're not going to be able to solve the bigger problems if the money is not increased, if you don't have the resource. So now you're focusing more on the process rather than just the result.
You're focusing more on the process, not just the result.
You're improving your processes. Maybe you're hiring more people. Maybe you're doing self-development.
Tama.
In order for you to solve problems more clearly.
Tama.
You're increasing your price also para hindi ka masyado nagtitake on too many clients and you can focus on what's
next.
For example, you're able to focus on three specific clients lang. So therefore,
I still do 20 plus clients a month, so maybe malayo pa yung pricing. No, I'm just joking. No, but yeah, 3 clients. No, but you're talking about that in a corporate or in like branding client standpoint, yes. Or like say, as you can focus more on those clients and delivering higher value for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's we're always talking about the doctor yung doctor analogy. Like a generalist doctor is gonna price differently from a neurosurgeon or a cardiologist. And a neurosurgeon, if you're talking about supply and demand, the reason why their price is so high because they're so low in supply. And para sa atin, if we're able to super stack those experiences, we super stack all our skills, ganyan, it makes our own individual potential come out. The individual experience and potential that only you have. So the more na nagpo-funnel down ka, the less you become a me too. And when you funnel down, you're becoming, parang na-articulate mo yung sarili mo as one of a kind. So nagiging lower in supply ka pa.
Parang nagiging one of one ka na. Parang something of that sort.
And that's what I think, that's what's happening to you eh. Kaya nga, people brand you as the number one wedding host. You have this specific, Ari Neeman brand. So no one else can be like Ari Neeman. I want Ari Neeman at my wedding.
Well, it's not, first of all, I think, ito lang ha, guys, for those watching, I never said, huy, ako yun never. I never, and I don't think that's ever something any professional needs to even think about or try to think about or acknowledge. Maybe in the back of your head you think about it, but it's not something you truly put within your energy or system, because number one, or all of those things are always subjective. It's just you. But I did recognize the value of being featured as number one.
Yes.
When I was featured back in 2016, I'm just like, hoy, that's number one. That's huge, ha? If you're number two, it's hard. Hey, number two in the top. And I'm just like, two is still great. Don't get me wrong. But one, it's just like an unbelievable value. As someone who understands marketing and positioning, I knew the value. And there were some people that even sometimes they bring it up with me, oh, number one ka, diba? Yun ang sabi mo. No, that's not what I said. That's what this feature said. And that's what I'm highlighting. Number one is subjective. Depends on the person. But I'm not an idiot. And I'm not gonna not use that and really capitalize on being featured as that. Because, and shout out to all those media outlets or all those that chose to feature me that way. It was an unbelievable value, because and if you say it yourself, voila, there's nothing there. Like LeBron James said it. Do you remember LeBron James had a press conference saying, "I'm the best basketball in the I'm the best basketball player in the world." People hated him for it. They were just like, and even more so that you don't say Michael Jordan saying I'm the you don't say, they don't, it's not because they don't believe or have the confidence that they feel that they're the best. They do. But the reason they're there is that's just not their process or focus. The reason I think a Michael Jordan is a Michael Jordan, they're in love with the work. They're in love with the process. They're in love with growing. They're in love with that. Someone who thinks, am I the best or not, or my number one or not, am I charging the most or not? I don't believe people who focus on those things get to the highest level. Yeah.
It's what we're discussing then kanina, diba? When we focus on the process, the results just come. And I think the people, these features, they called you number one. There's a reason for that. There's they have I think I would drop it under brand recognition.
Oh,
you as a personal brand.
That's nice,
right?
That's nice.
So it's brand recognition. So they associated you with being the best. Maybe because it's also of what people have said about you. It's what they've experienced you.
Body of work.
It's your body of work. It's you getting these people, these clients, these brands over and over again. So there's a reason behind it. It's not, being number one, it's a result of a process. And that's what people don't realize it.
And I think it's just the things you have to focus on. And it's not and even now, honestly, Kea, there's so much to improve on as a host. That's ang dami pa. When I look at it, I'm like, pwede pa to. And I don't think you ever stop at that process.
Yeah.
You never.
Yeah.
You never
That's
till the day you
why
die.
it's it's a long game. It's playing the long game talaga. When you're so focused on results, on a goal that's always so associated with results, almost all the time people get depressed. Like, I want to hit 7 figures this year.
Yeah.
I want to hit, I want to work 4 hours a day and hit and earn 6 figures.
Yeah.
So para sa akin, those are results oriented, and most of the time, I mean, what do you have control over? Results or process?
Process.
Mas may control ka sa processes. So when
Tama.
I set goals, ina-associate ko sa process. So for example, read 3 books this month. I want to start my YouTube channel. So talagang may action word siya na I can control, 'di ba? So start my podcast, restart my podcast. So it's not get 1 million listeners, 'di ba?
It's get 1 million.
'Di ba? It's start the podcast. Do it this every Monday. Right?
Do this every Monday. So
Yeah.
it's like basically, instead of trying to get the result, like get 1 million, the difference between process and result, just to see if I'm aligning with you here, Kia. Someone who goes result is someone who's gonna say, I want to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. But someone who goes process is someone who basically says, I want to become the type of person that will get
absolutely.
1 million subscribers.
That's right. Yeah, that's so well put. Yeah, that was so well put. Yeah. It's who you become din talaga along the way.
That's
And in so doing, your results, you also become so flexible with your results. So ibig sabihin, if you don't get, if you don't get ideal results, let's just say, if you don't get ideal results, mas flexible ka dun sa proseso mo.
And pwede ka mag-reflect. Like, okay, kung hindi ka yung resulta ko, parang napupunta siya sa accountability. Baka wala pa ako dun. Ano ba yung mali kong nagawa? And you start looking at it.
Yeah, you're able to troubleshoot even better.
Agree.
So you have more control kasi dun sa proseso mo eh. And the more that you refine the process, the more that the right results come.
And let me just try to connect this back to the initial discussion.
Yeah.
Ako kasi, like I said, I don't think I would be able to get this level to become this type of host if I focused on pricing properly 5 years ago or 3 to 5 years ago. I would not be this. I would not garner the experience. I would not fall in love with the process as much as I do now. Parang it's not as hardly ingrained as me as it is now compared to, let's say, alam mo, dapat ganito yung presyo ko. Kung 5 years kong inano yun, then I got in touch with, Kaya ano ba yung presyo ko? Kasi gusto ko presyo eh. Gusto ko ito yung charge ko. Parang, it wasn't even that. And then when I went to you, it's not that I wanted to get that amount. I just wanted to find out what was my worth. And then you're saying like, my God, Eri, your worth is so low right now. Anong ginagawa mo? Mali ka. And I'm just like, really? Pero happy na ako.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I was also telling you to increase your price. I mean, nasa iyo pa rin naman yun eh. At the end of the day, the decision is yours.
Yes.
But the reason why I did advise you to do that is because it sounds like such an amazing thing to be booked out.
Yes,
but,
it is.
Every single day, I mean, there's gonna be a time when it's going to be exhausting.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get burnt out, and then you're also like your dreams for your family. They're gonna be growing.
Time with family.
All of these different things, right? You want to be able to you want to be able to have these boundaries where you have time with family. You have that. I mean, I know I'm just saying this because I'm also in that kind of crossroads right now.
Same.
I mean, I have 2 kids na.
Iba na pag
I have 2 kids na.
Iba na.
So like, your dreams also evolve along the way.
Tama.
The purpose grows along the way.
Tama.
And suddenly it's not just about the money. It's also about the time. So, yeah. So, the value for your time also goes up.
Exactly.
It's also the way that you value your time. That's why, I don't just, hindi ako basta-basta nagsasabi sa mga tao, increase your price. Hindi naman ganun eh. If I say, there's always a reasoning behind me trying to advise people to raise their price. And, a good example is when, number one, you get booked out. And number two, you get 3 consecutive yeses right away for when you say your price.
Ay, ganun ba yun?
That's the rule.
I really was that. Why didn't you tell me when I increased 6 months ago?
It's like, you always get yes for the, it's too low.
So too low pa rin yun. No, but
Yeah,
I think it's a
yeah.
wonderful problem. It's a wonderful problem.
It's a beautiful
It's a
problem.
beautiful,
It's a beautiful
and
problem.
I'm very grateful for that. And just to align back on a certain thing, you were saying kasi in correct me if I'm wrong. This might have been like in a more company or group or corporate standpoint when you said when you solve $1 million problems, you charge more so that you can equip yourself to solve bigger problems. One thing that I think where that you saying that applies to me, when you're a professional, in my case, I'm a solo professional. I am like a professional solopreneur, right? In that sense, I am my own business. I don't handle people or I don't know all of that. When you get time kasi, you get to a point where I think the first thing is you have to get over the whole surviving aspect. When you're surviving kasi, guys, and trust me, we've all been there. You don't necessarily have the luxury of evolution or growing so much.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're really just focusing on surviving. Because I'm like really? Oh, mag-evolve ako, mag-grow ako. No, I have to put food on the table this week,
Right.
next week.
Yeah.
When surviving is, that's really the initial thing that I think anyone has to get over. And this conversation, if you're just surviving, it's a really hard conversation to have para sa taong gusto mag-survive. They're like, this is not relevant. Hindi. And I will not force that conversation on someone who's just looking to survive because you're just in a different place in life. You have to survive. Once you get past the survival aspects where you start to try to, you don't have to worry necessarily so much of putting food on the table anymore. I think that's the first level of any person in business or professional that need to get over. Then you provide the luxury na after you make enough where survival is not a factor anymore, where you already move to the next level, which is being able to grow and craft. And time now becomes, I think, the next manageable asset for you. And in my case kasi, when you've gotten the experience, when you've gotten everything and you'll be able to hone yourself, if I charge the same amount that I did 5 years ago, I will be booked like 20 out of 30 times of the month. Which has happened. I want to get 30 nga, gusto ko mag-bingo. I was 2 bookings away from bingo. Would you believe? I just
That was
wanted to
December. I remember.
I told you I'm like 2 bookings na lang from bingo. But the thing kasi, if you're always like in that hustle mode, you don't necessarily give yourself the space to grow in the direction you would like because you're always in it. Sometimes affording the time and space to step back and reflect and decide, okay, I have now more time in my hands. I can now use that time to do this, do that, or take this to the next level. You can't do that if you're booked 20 out of 30 times of the year because you have family, you have all these other priorities. Wala kang oras to even grow. So I would say, would you say that is something that is probably aligned in regards to why I'm charging more so that I can afford myself to now grow in these directions?
Yeah. Kasi, I mean, I wouldn't say that every person's goal is just focused on career growth.
Tama.
I mean, you want to grow in your relationships. You want to grow in your
Absolutely.
own personal development. You
Tama.
want to grow in your family. You want to grow different aspects of your life,
As a
and
human
it's not just
being.
career,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Yeah, I remember Bo Sanchez saying this in a, or I think he quoted it from someone else. You're a human being, not a human doing. So you have to be,
Mm.
you know. So parang being
Mm.
as a human, you want to grow all of these different aspects, and you don't just want, I mean, there's going to be a phase talaga in your life na your time is going to be about growing professionally,
Mm.
and then suddenly it's growing personally.
Mm.
Ano talaga we at the start of everything, you're going to sacrifice one for the other.
The start of everything.
You're gonna
Yes,
compromise
absolutely.
something else.
Absolutely.
'Di ba? It depends on what your priorities are, what your focus is gonna be. But then, there's also the intention behind the focus eh.
The intention
So,
behind the focus. Can you explain that?
so you will say na ano na, okay, right now, I wanna focus on my professional career,
Mm.
or I want to focus on yung sinabi mo nga, if we're gonna take the example of survival,
Mm.
I wanna focus on putting food on the table.
Mm.
Yun muna. So, I'm gonna get all of the different odd jobs.
Yes.
Di ba? That's the process. Na parang, I remember, I think this was from Alex Hormozy. He said, do you think you can make $1 million being a McDonald's employee? And people are like, no, no, no. And he said, yes, you can. I'm like, really? And
Go
then he
on.
goes, because when you're a McDonald's employee, you're learning to deal with customers. You're learning to deal with, if you're working the cashier, you're learning the math of the business.
Yes.
You're learning how to do all of these different things. And you don't realize is you're building skill.
Yes.
You're building skill with the potential to earn you $1 million if you know how to develop that.
It's a
down the
perspective
road.
thing.
It's a perspective thing.
And
Right?
we're going back. We're going back to focusing on the experience versus
exactly.
the money. Because someone who
Exactly.
said no, you can't. That person is focusing on this is how much a McDonald's employee earns.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the kind of person you're becoming because of the experience you're garnering, then
Yeah.
that's just perspective. Nothing changed. Perspective lang.
Yeah. But then you're still, the intention behind it is still putting food on the table. Right? So you're focusing on that. And sometimes people don't realize na nagbabangko tayo ng confidence. Nagbabangko tayo ng skill. So then, when you start to grow out of the survival rate, survival race,
Yes.
so now you're able to put food on the table. You're not worrying so much about that right now. Kasi hindi naman parang mahirap mangarap ang taong gutom.
Tama. Hindi talaga.
So-
You can't even afford to dream because you need to eat.
Exactly, right. So now that you have that out of the way, you have a roof over your head, you have all of the essential things, you have all the basic needs. Now what? Diba?
Tama. What's next?
What's next for you? What's next for me?
Pero kaya is it safe to say based on just how the progression of our discussion, parang even if you're surviving, trying to get more time or trying to evolve or just grow to the next level, you can afford the perspective of focusing on experience versus results. No?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
experience versus money. Kasi based on this conversation, even if you're just starting or surviving, you can still focus on the experience thing. And that's, I think, such an empowering and a healthier mindset to have for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things when I was an employee, I heard this also from, I think, it was one of the seminars that I attended. Because I've always been big on personal development ever since.
Yes.
So one of the seminars that I attended, sinabi niya na you can be an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm like, ooh.
You can be an employee
like,
with an
how?
entrepreneurial. Ang ganda nun.
Yeah.
Can you
I'm
go
like,
on?
how?
Go on with that nga?
And they said, and we said na, when you're an employee, parang feeling mo, ang baba ng bayad ko, ang baba ng sahod ko. Bakit ganito? Ba't ganito lang yung binibigay sa akin? Right? Ang dami ko masyadong ginagawa for this kind of ano. Wait. Sorry. I have a special guest.
Hi, is this the baby? Say
Yeah,
hi. Ay, my God. Ay, nakakamiss ang size. Hi, Mel. Hello.
He has to go fetch Kali na kasi.
Okay, go.
Wala pa yung season.
Oh my God, look at him. Have him there. Okay
So
lang.
chunky. Anyway. But yeah, so sinabi niya na you have to reframe that into, hey, these guys, this huge corporation, this agency is paying me for my skill, for my time, which means I'm an entrepreneur.
In what
They're
sense?
paying me for because they're paying me to solve a problem for them. Kumbaga, this employer, they are my clients.
This employer are your clients. Ang ganda, nag-perspective ka.
So, ganun yung naging perspective ko. So, this is my client.
Ang ganda nun. Ang ganda nun. Go on.
Yeah. So then, when that happens, parang you go out of your way to focus on what you're gonna learn. You focus on what you're gonna learn in the process. Kasi ako, when I was in agency, hindi ko malulearn yung pagkausap sa client. Hindi ko malulearn yung pag-manage ng project. Kasi I was an account manager. I managed 14 projects at a time.
14 projects at a
time. When I was in agency.
That's crazy.
So parang the in and out of it, yung pagiging systematic when it comes to answering clients, knowing how to pace my day para lahat sila all of those things na essential sa pagiging creatives, essential sa pagiging ahensya. Kasi in a creative business, there's the creativity side, there's still the business side. So when I was able to adopt a more entrepreneurial mindset, I went into problem solving mode. Hindi na ako yung parang I'm always Monday na naman, ganyan. Every time a client would call me with a problem, okay, how do we navigate this? How do we troubleshoot this? You're paying me to solve a problem for you.
And let me just highlight how important what Kia just said for those listening, for everyone listening who's maybe a professional or an employee. It's all perspective, no?
Perspective.
It's perspective. And your job doesn't define how your perspective needs to be. No? It doesn't, no? Your job has no influence on your perspective. It's you who decides your perspective. And because yun ang entrepreneur ako, client ko yung boss ko or yung company na nag-hire sa akin, kliyente ko sila, sinasolve ko yung mga problema, it changes everything. And you enable, and it also changes you na parang kasi ganito ako, problem solver ako. And entrepreneurs are problem solvers. They solve the world's problems. And that's what you do, di ba? Dahil pinilitan mo yung perspective mo sa sarili mo, you change your perspective with yourself. You look at the things that you're doing rather than someone who's paid as an employee na ito yung trabaho, ganito yung binabayaran para sa akin, versus na parang these are the skills that I'm honing rather than these are the skills that I'm being paid for.
Yeah, it's like I'm being paid to learn and hone these skills. Diba? So parang para ka na ring it's honing your skills, developing yourself in that kind of setting. Kasi meron ka talagang mababangko at mababangko.
Tama.
They're paying me to learn. Parang ganun.
They're paying me to learn.
Paying me to learn. Yeah.
And look at that. This has been tied in consistently to, had I focused on just my price at the beginning of my career as a host, I would not reach this. That's why for me, sabi ko nga, buti nga, like if I increased and got actually what I was worth based on what I was, let's say 5 to 10 years ago. Kasi, sabi natin 5 years ago. Kasi 15 years na ako sa industry.
Wow.
Sana wow yun in like tenor, not like ang tanda ko na ha. Like parang,
No.
I'm joking.
No, it's
I'm
like
joking. Tenor. Yeah, 15. If I did that, wala, hindi ko talaga, or even like 5 to 8 years ago, kung pera lang inisip ko at price yung inisip ko at yun ang naging value para sa akin at yun ang nag-define ng value ko as a host, I would not reach the level that and the level that I truly always try to aspire to go over and keep going, I would not fall in love with the process. I would not fall in love with learning. I would not fall in love in sharpening my craft. I would not fall in love in getting to see and having the privilege to feel the value you give to people and making that important and making it important. Parang you find that's valuable for you, seeing how you've made your clients feel. And for me, honestly, guys, like for those like jumping in, whether you're a host or aligned in terms of any creative sort of journey or a venture as a professional or as a company, I think what truly gives confidence to someone is seeing how much value you've been able to give your clients consistently. When they tell you, oh my God, you did this. Oh my God, you solved this. Ang sarap pakinggan, di ba? When the clients tell them yourselves na parang you've delivered. You've solved this problem. Wow, I'm so happy we got to have this regardless of the challenges. Pag nasabi ng kliyente sa'yo na yun ang mga sinasabi sa'yo consistently, ha?
Yeah.
Especially during a situation or an event or any sort of situation na mahirap. Ang daming crisis na nangyari. And you were able to come through it where the client was like happy and like, we got over it, we did it, we pulled it off. I think that truly builds confidence.
It does, yeah. One of the hardest, biggest clients, well, not, I wouldn't say, the biggest clients, but one of the hardest ones, and I think that was a pivotal moment in our career then, Neeman, was when Marawi City became our client.
Marawi City? A city?
Marawi City. Like, we went there. We went to Marawi City.
A geographical location? Like an entire city populated by people was your client? Okay.
Yes, and that was Marawi. That was the one that was attacked by terrorists.
Hala.
Diba? Last 2017.
Okay.
Mel and I just got married.
Hala.
And our client was actually USAID. So USAID, nagpa-bid out sila ng parang communication strategy, they called it behavior change communication strategy. Ganon. So sabi na, we have no idea how to do a behavioral change communication, but we do know how to do communication strategy. So nagbid kami. We didn't know what the outcome of it was gonna be. We banked on our own experiences and we got the bid. So it was wonderful. It became a 3-year project, Eri.
Wow.
Because that was how challenging it was. Because we were trying to help people bounce back from being attacked by terrorists.
And what was the initial projection of the time from 3 years? Like, what was the initial scope of work?
Initial was 3 months.
3 months?
And then it took 3 years.
Kala nila 3 months lang, we just need you for 3 months. And then when you looked into it, truly wanting to solve the problem, it became...
Years.
Did you initially say 3 years? Or was it like, because it just kept going?
Scope. It was their scope. Sinabi nila, okay, 3 months. Ganyan. First month, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do audience analysis. Month 2, we're gonna do the strategy. Month 3, we're gonna implement. Year 1 was audience analysis.
Year 1 was
talagang ganon.
Wow.
So and we were doing like para kami nag-thesis 3 times.
Wow.
Ganon kasi and you know what the fulfilling part of that was. One of the partners that we worked with after the project was done, sinabi niya na we're very grateful for you because kayo lang yung pumunta dito sa Marawi na may ginawa na make sense.
That makes sense.
Makes sense to us. Kasi talagang we went there, we listened sa kanila dun sa mga maaapektuhan. Kasi it's a different culture, mga Maranaos, they have a different culture, and we're talking about behavior change. So pag sinabi mong behavior change, you're trying to change behaviors of people there. Nung time na yon, siya? It was the problem that we're trying to fix there was it was related to water access, sanitation, and hygiene. Kasi it was one of the biggest problems na talagang naapektuhan when the terrorism attack happened.
May I ask you, why were they framing it as communication and behavioral change? Why was there why did they phrase it that way when pitching it to you guys?
Behavioral change communication kasi it's a category talaga.
Okay.
It's a real, I mean, you have behavioral science, di ba?
Yeah.
Ganon. So, the reason for that is that merong they have a specific habit, or they have something specific that they wanted the Maranaos to change. So, for example, they wanted them to start paying their water bill ulit. So, what was happening is nagkakaroon ng problems nga sa water access nila, sa sanitation and hygiene. So everything comes back to the water. So what we're trying to do is to help the people, the Maranaos, to help them na parang simple as paying their water bill or cleaning up their environment with clean water.
With clean water.
Hygiene. Ganyan yung mahirap mag-bounce back in terms of that pag nanggaling ka sa terrorism na attack.
And
the water is dirty, people have no money to pay their bills.
Tama.
It's like that.
And
siya behavioral change.
And was it like, did you find that more than just getting people to pay their water bill, or let's say just do all these things, did you realize shortly or sooner than later that you were helping heal a city?
Actually, that was the initial thought sa amin ni Mel. Kaya kami na pressure. Kasi sinabi namin na parang okay, when they were discussing with us during the initial discussions of the project, parang sinasabi nila na ito yung situation. We have more than 200,000 displaced families
because of the terrorist attacks.
Yeah. So, they don't have access to clean water. Yung MCWD, which is the water district of Marawi, nahihirapan sila to get their operations up because people are not able to pay their bills. Right? And then there's an ongoing mindset na, hey, Maranao literally means people of the lake. The lake is ours. Why do we have to pay for it? So there are so many different ongoing narratives there. How do we change that? Kaya siya tinawag the behavior change.
Wow.
So that is one of the hardest things that you're gonna do.
To do that for one person is hard na nga eh. To do that pa with 200,000 people. My God, that's a podcast. That's a podcast in itself, Kia.
It's a different podcast.
That's a podcast in itself. My God, I swear we have to talk about that because I think that's I think that covers at least mga an hour or 2 or 3.
Yeah,
but
sure. Then that's the reason.
What it gave you though?
Why Mel? Parang naging pivotal moment siya sa amin kasi when one of our partners told us nga na, you're the only people who came here. Ang dami nang pumunta dito. And kayo lang isa sa mga tao na pumunta dito na may ginawa that really made sense. And you made us feel na we were listened to.
Why did it make sense for them? What were you saying that you felt made sense? What were the things you focused on and told them that you felt made them respond to, oh, this makes sense?
I think kasi, for the most part it was us listening to them rather than telling them na okay, this should be the strategy. It wasn't like that eh. Sinabi namin, okay, we want to gather all the mothers. What do you think of this message? Does this resonate with you? Which of these posters do you think resonates with you better? And yung posters na ginawa namin, it wasn't just aesthetic posters. We incorporated their culture.
Their culture.
Yung mga design. Talagang
messaging.
Pinag-aralan talaga. So the way that we studied it is not just the internet or books. We asked the people there. We asked nag-on ground yung team namin, 26 cities.
26
Marawi.
cities. Wow.
Nag-ask talaga kami ng questions. We asked the questions and then we sat down with their government. We asked them this is the plan. What do you think of the plan? Does this resonate with you?
Does
what
this
do you think?
for a city, huh?
For a city, that's why it took 3 years. Kasi collaborative siya eh. And that's what changed the game for Mel and I. Nakita namin that the power of communication can literally save lives.
The power of communication can literally save lives. In a nice concise like way. Why do you think the power of communication can change lives?
For me, just from that example alone, the way that you can articulate, the way that you listen, and the way that you can articulate, those are two very, very important factors. Important but very underrated na factors. Na na if you do it well, people get the chance to push for their dreams for one more day. When people listen to that, they listen to your experience, they listen to the lessons that you've learned in your own life. In Marawi City, we listen to the people, what did they want rather than what we wanted for them.
Tama.
And then, that started to change also their habits. That started to change their mindset. A power of good communication can change people's minds. You're able to dive into people's beliefs.
Absolutely.
Communication, it's not just about what you articulate. It's also what you listen to.
What you listen to and articulate it back to them.
Yeah, exactly. It makes them feel heard, makes them feel safe.
And seen.
Exactly. Yeah. So
and because of that, you were able to solve a problem.
Yeah,
you were able to solve the problem.
We were able to solve. Well, actually, it's complete behavior change is gonna take more than 3 years.
Absolutely.
But what we did was we gave them the foundation. This is where you can start, and then let's just keep doing this, and then we gave them instructions how they can continue doing this for their city and all of that stuff. And then when we started doing that to other cities, especially in the height of COVID, my gosh, that was a
game changer.
That was a game changer.
You guys learned so much.
We learned so much. Oo.
And I'm not even focused, like for me, as someone who understands what it made you both become, what it made you both learn, and what it made you both grow into. And this is where I think people who focus solely on price and people who focus on experience and growing, people who focus on price might say, ang dami niyong tinanabaho, grabe, 3 years, ang gandang account yan ha, 3 years kayong binayad. Or, okay kayo dun ha. That's basically, might be someone who's focusing on price. But someone who's focusing on experience and growing and just that forever growth and that forever, journey as a professional, as a human being, my God, that was worth more than anything someone can pay you.
Yeah, the experience in itself. It was, parang sabi namin ni Mel, paano natin nile-leverage ngayon yung experience natin na to? Yung napagdaanan natin na to, how do we apply that in the way that we help our clients? And it has applied in the way that we help our clients. Mas nagko-focus kami yun, like when we do communication strategies, when we do content strategies, we're always focusing on the audience first. Ano bang gusto nila? What aligns with them?
What aligns with them?
What's their behavior? Even the way that I look at algorithms, it's human behavior in data form.
That's it.
Diba?
You know what I always say, and I tell this to my wife. I always tell her this. I'm like, honey, I'm talking to you. On this sense, she has such an ability with people. She has the ability to really kind of get such a good read and size up because of what she's been through as a person. She's able to really understand it in such an instinctive way. She has such a deep understanding that she gets something so quickly. And sabi ko, you have the ability to become a better business person, entrepreneur than me because of that ability. Because numbers, like you said, algorithms, the movement of the stock market, all simply reflect decisions of people.
Yeah.
It's people who make those things up. It's not numbers or money. Money, numbers, stock market, up, down, short, long. Those are all made up of decisions and behaviors of people.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. So, if you wanna understand numbers, understand people. You want to understand the way that, businesses work. Businesses, entrepreneurs, creators, all of these things, it all boils down to how people behave.
how people behave. And I think that applies. Does that apply to every aspect, regardless of your career or job?
Yeah,
Every,
it
diba?
does.
Wala eh. It's relationships, it's people, diba? It's behavior. Yun talaga yun eh.
Yeah, it's not just kasi ano eh, people think, you can make money off just, focusing on the symptoms.
Yeah.
Focusing on the symptoms. I mean, at the end of the day, there are problems that keep people up at night. You know how to solve one of those problems? Naalala ko one of the things also that, Chris Dong, my mentor.
Yes, your mentor. Brilliant man.
He said, we look for an involvement of problems.
And
a lot of people think that when you earn 6 figures, when you do this and do that, mawawalan ka na ng problema.
Absolutely not.
It's not.
You're solving
it's
more.
Your problems continue to grow.
Yes.
And even the more you earn, diba? The more you earn, the more problems you have.
Absolutely. The more you earn, actually, the more people you're responsible for.
Exactly.
My God, the problems compound.
Exactly. So then, if you don't have passion in solving the problem, wala kang passion dun sa proseso. The growing of problems, it's only gonna be overwhelming for you.
It's only gonna be overwhelming. Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, people how people reference parang, oy, 10 years ago ganito yon. 10 years ago ganito yung mas madali lang dati. 10 years ago ganito yun. 10 years ago nung bata ako, ito lang yan dapat ganito kayo nung bata ka. But what I've recently accepted and got, the world is always changing. A generation is different because the problems in the world is different. Because the world is different because it's grown. It presents a whole new set of problems that the previous generation or the generation before that never came across.
Yeah.
That's why this generation, there might be principles that you're able to get through that are timeless, that can definitely solve a problem. But what everyone goes through, every generation is different. You can't tell them just because you've experienced. That's why when you say it's problems evolve because the world evolves. Human beings evolve. Our problems 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago are not necessarily the same as the problems we have to solve now.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not ready for that, if you're not in love with the process, these growing problems, they're just going to be a chore for you.
To be so heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. But for people who are passionate about solving the problems, it's exciting for them.
Yeah, you're just like, uy, okay yan ah. Or you see someone solve the problem, oo.
Ano yan? Parang ganun. You're gonna be interested in it, diba?
Yes, absolutely.
What's the opportunity here? The problem becomes an opportunity. You start to find the opportunity in it if you're in love with that process. But if not, a problem is a problem.
A problem is a problem.
Yeah.
Kia, I think that's just a wonderful way to kind of just encapsulate the entire discussion. It's all perspective of falling in love with the process and experience versus results or money or stature or whatever of those things.
Yeah.
If you were gonna define those two separate categories or those two separate ways of seeing things, how would you articulate it? Someone who focuses on this will be this. Someone who focuses on this will be this.
That's an interesting question. Wait.
It's a hard question, huh?
It is.
Kasi like I'm trying to find the words to be able to help people like that kind of hits all those spots. Like if you focus on just money, results and all of these things, you'll be this. If you focus on the process, growing, learning, experience, will be this. If we were to kind of encapsulate that in terms of just putting it simply.
Oh. I think
Iniisip ko din.
Oo nga naman. I feel like someone who focuses just on the money, on the results. No, but parang siyang hindi magiging inclusive if I say it.
Yeah.
Let me reword it in a different way.
It's a nice way to find. It's a challenging way to articulate it, no?
Yeah.
Pero there is some value in being able to put it simply, no? That kind of just accesses for a lot of people to be able to access. Well, we can definitely save that, but I think if we were just gonna simplify it, and that can be a question that can be answered eventually. You tell me if you find it for yourself. But basically, someone who focuses on, let's say, growth, experience, and just the process becomes a certain type of professional. Someone who focuses on money, results can hit both categories nga lang though eh.
Yeah, I mean kasi ano siya eh, parang when you keep focusing on results, it's always going to be hard. I mean, it's always going to be I mean, everything is hard.
Yeah.
You use the hard.
I think gets ko yung sinasabi mo. Go on, yes. Oo.
Right? But then it's always going to be tough to it's always going to be tough to navigate the path.
Because it's like me seeing, like, I always have to make sure that people in the wedding don't go home. That's the result. But in essence, it's not it eh. It's like, that's not what makes a successful. Yes, it's a part of it. But if I focus on making that, like, my value, my measure of if I was effective or not, then other people have control over my value and my how I'm able to do my job properly, versus me just focusing on, did I take care of the energy? Did I make sure the flow did I make sure the flow of the program went really, really well? Did I arrange things in a way where I've really considered how people feel? Was I conscious of when the energy was already going down, and did I do something to make sure that energy is up? Did I make sure that everything did not drag so that it ended on a high note, so that people still have energy to party and mingle and still have those things? When I focus on those things versus, ay, aalis na yung table na to, that means I'm not doing a good job. Tama ka, mahirap na yung resulta pa. That's a result way of looking at it, no?
Yeah. And I want to hit 1 million in 2 months. Hindi ko na hit yung 1 million, I'm a failure.
Oo nga, mali nga talaga yun.
Diba?
You're right.
So, parang, it doesn't, the results, we shouldn't let the results define us kasi, as people.
Parang growth versus goals, would that be?
Yeah. I think, siya eh. For me, kasi I've redefined success that way eh, na parang, it's success versus significance for me. So when this was in one of my videos also, na parang the way that I redefined success. Kaya sinasabi mo na successful. Parang success is not a goal but a beginning.
Success is not a goal but a beginning.
Success is not a goal, it's a beginning. So every time that you achieve success in terms of results, di ba? Every time you achieve success in terms of result, there are growing processes behind it. So parang every milestone that you hit, it's one success, and then it's another success, and then it's another success, and it's another success. So then it becomes part of this growth pattern. And all of these small or big successes that you have in your life, it's leading towards you being a significant person.
A significant person.
So parang significance siya. And the successes that you had lead to that.
To the
You
significance.
becoming a valuable person rather than you becoming expensive. You're becoming valuable.
Valuable. Expensive versus valuable. Ang ganda nun. Expensive versus valuable. That's a good. Are you valuable or are you expensive?
Oh. Right?
And that necessarily. But are you valuable because you're expensive, or are you expensive because you're valuable? My God, those are two things.
Exactly. Kasi, for example, my consultation rates is going to be $2,000. $2,000 is expensive to the wrong person.
Is expensive to the wrong person. Tama.
Right?
Tama.
But if someone finds you valuable, $2,000 is valuable.
Period. Like I'm paying for your value, not for your price. I'm paying for your value, not for your price.
So people who focus on results might become expensive.
Yes.
But people who focus on the process are sure to become valuable. Ang ganda nun.
That's how we end it. Ang ganda. Even baby was just like, he's like, good. Go, mommy, go. Good yan, good yan. Check. Kia, it's been wonderful talking to you. The conversation definitely just flew, and just flowed really nicely. I am looking forward to Likha because I know this is a milestone for you, Mel, and the team. It's the first time I also get to see you guys in your element, and I'm very, very excited to be a part of that. I think this is just one little, one little glimpse of what people who might be going through their own journey as a creator, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, anything you might have. I truly felt that Kia could help me because based on the person that I felt she was. And Kia, you definitely have helped me. And you're telling me that my price is low. Panako, you'll help me 6 months from now, huh? No.
You can just message me.
Yeah, you can just message me. No, but I think Likha, because of the people who comprise it, this is my personal thing, Kia, huh? Really has the ability to help a lot of people who might be going through the same thing in terms of the growth that I had to and the challenges that I had to come across and seek help with Kia. And if you feel that these sort of problems or this discussion resonated with you, maybe Likha could be a place that can help you grow or help you find your process or help you reach that level of value that you want to reach.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, Likha, I would never ask people to sacrifice food on the table just to be able to afford Likha, right? That's why we also have a community where we do education, where we do all of these support and learning for free.
Wonderful.
So, if you're at that stage where you're still at a crossroads, ganyan, you just join the group. You have, I try to give as much value as I can on TikTok. So I try to give as much free stuff as I can, just to help, just to make it safe for people to be able to articulate their creative pursuits. Kasi, we're still at that stage where creative pursuits are being frowned upon. Parang wala namang pera sa art, yung mga ganung narratives, right? So, the choice is there. It's just that not many people are aware of the choice, or not many people are aware of how to navigate that specific choice. So that's where we come in. That's where we want to help with.
That's wonderful.
And that's also one of the reasons why Likha was born in the first place. So we wanted to create a safe community, a safe space for people to talk about their creative pursuits, to talk about their creative dreams. And I know it's a huge undertaking, but again, when we were talking about problems kanina, we're looking for an involvement of problems.
Well, if this is your new Marawi.
It's an exciting thing for us.
It's an exciting thing for you guys.
I'm grateful, Eri, that you're gonna be there as one of our creators, and I'm excited for the conversations that will flow along with 3 other creators.
Yes.
There, so I'm excited to I mean we already saw the conversation that we had today. And I'm looking forward to everybody, witnessing that kind of conversation also.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Kia, what is the group that you mentioned? You created a group. Can you kind of maybe just mention the group for people who might be listening to this in the future?
It's called the Brave Malikhains.
The brave. So brave naman, no?
Brave.
Oh, brave. The Brave Malikhains. Got it. And is that a website? Is that a Facebook group?
It's a Facebook group.
It's a Facebook group.
So just search for it on Facebook, the Brave Malikhains community. So we're there. We're always there. You can post your pricing problems there and all of these different
or
things.
any other problems.
Mindset problems, ganyan. We already have free resources inside. So yeah, as much as we can, we want to create a safe space for people and their dream. Eri, you have a code for people who want to
yes,
for people who want to purchase.
Yeah, just type in Eri and then I believe they get 10%.
Yeah,
10% off the usual. But
go.
yeah, Kia, I enjoyed this conversation. I think it's lovely. Thank you for involving the little one. The Zeke, well, it's like the name of the little is Zeke, right? Was it like Zeke? Yeah. Thank you for involving little Zeke to guest as well. It's your one of your first podcast guestings, Zeke. Very nice. I'll see you at Likha on September. And I had this was a wonderful conversation. Thank you, thank you. May we continue to find our processes and diba, to the hit that value that we always try to give to people. Thank you so much, Kia, for affirming those perspectives with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ari. It was a fruitful conversation as always. Always enjoy our conversations.
Thank you, Kia. Thank you.